Hi, it's Jez here from nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. So I'm quite excited because I'm in a swap for making a little folio, and I received this today. My swap isn't quite finished. I'm doing a video of how I made this. This is at the end of part 2, so I've got part 3 to make. So this will be the introduction to the making of this. It's a folio that is made with several envelopes. So that's all I'm saying. So I don't know if Suzanne, who has sent me this, how lovely is that packaged, has used the same. We were in the group, we were directed to a video by Liz, the Paper Project. Love that. I might do something with that. So I'm kind of following that. So I don't know if Suzanne has done that or not. Do you know, like, none of this will get wasted. I will use it all. Love it. So this is in the Facebook group, Junk Journaling for Everyone. So it's a lovely group. I like it. And I tend to do swaps most months. And sometimes it's just like 50 items or whatever, but sometimes it's making things, and I like it when it's making things because I love making things, and it's nice if the things can then get passed on, because I keep making them and I can't use everything that I make. So let me just, I thought there might be a little card, so look at that after. Oh, isn't that lovely? Does look like it's fairly similar, so I shall keep the green tissue as well. Oh, I've just realised I've left the top off my glue overnight. What an idiot. Right, so how lovely is that? Beautiful papers, very beautiful. So, oh, and the stitching, I haven't stitched, but I do love it. So is that attached at the back? Yeah, I couldn't decide whether to attach a ribbon or not. This is lovely. I love that. Very nice. So it was a Christmas folio. So, oh, how gorgeous. I couldn't find any CD-ROM envelopes. I wanted to use that because that was in the original sort of video. So I'm liking this, liking it a lot. How lovely. So really, really nice, lovely tags, not too adorned. That's really nice. So I could be using these as part of my December daily maybe, or I could repurpose them in other things. So some really nice big tags there. Oh, that one's slightly stuck at the bottom there. There. No harm done. Nice little charms, they're cute. Love the using of the stencils there. Really nice. Nice pockets. I love getting things that other people make. Gives you ideas. Love that idea, a little pocket on top of there. I've done a bit of that. And these are really nice. Just a little bit of, love a postcard. Wonder if that's a stamp over that. I've been looking out for one of them. And these charms are beautiful. Love all the Christmas themes. And I like, oh, that's like a, because it's like it's almost like a hidden pocket there that you can't see. Like it. Like it, like it. And then we've got a little flippy flappy there. So that looks like a little tag pulled out there. Liking it. And that's all stitched round. Gosh, this must took her ages. I contemplated stitching. But if you could see the state of my room, it's not going to happen. So I might be going off camera there. I think you saw that, yeah. Oh, I like that idea. Little circles. That's really good because it's like a circle on the other side. very clever. Like that a lot. And then, oh, flippy up. Flippy upsy. And this looks like lots of packaging tape's been used there. I did that in a project. It's a very good idea. Oh, and then a journal. Oh, I like that. Oh, that's really nice. Oh, this could be my December daily. Saves me making one, doesn't it? Oh, I like it. Really nice. That looks like some avocado paper as well as tea or coffee. What a lovely little simple idea for a journal. Really like it. And it slips out. I think it's supposed to slip out. I think some glue's oozed a little bit in there. So I'll be gentle and get that out. So, oh, I like it. Lovely papers. Really nice. Thank you, Suzanne. That is really lovely. So that's what we're making, a Christmas folio. Mine's different, using several different envelopes. I have made my envelopes out of packaging, so it is proper upcycling, and I've used some retired Stampin' Up papers on mine and a bit of vintage ephemera. So she is non-stop paper crafts. I will link her channel down below, so do go and check her out and do subscribe. She makes some wonderful things. The videos are lovely. Okay, so now let's see my folio. Right, so to make my envelopes, I wanted some nice big brown envelopes. So I got this huge sheet. It's 4 times this size. I got 6 sheets of that in some packaging. So I've just given it a gentle iron. And so I want to get my envelopes. I'm going to use my envelope punch board. And the biggest thing they do here is 6 by 8.5, using an 11.5 inch piece of paper. So I think I'm going to go that size. So I need these to cut down to 11.5 inches. So I'm reckoning on making all of my envelopes for this folio out of this packaging paper. So here we have my 2 11.5 by 11.5. They're slightly out, but I think it will still work, I'm thinking. So we are going to score at 4 7/8. So get rid of that. 4 7/8 is there. So we give it a punch and we give it a score. It goes off the board, but it's okay because you can start your crease and then it will go to the end. So all is good. So now we can put that line there, give it a punch, give it a score. That line is okay. This one is going to go off the board again, but again we will just get the score line, go that way, and then again we're going to punch and score. So you can round these edges, but I actually don't think we're going to see any of this envelope, but I'm just going to do it just in case you're like, oh, that's a really good idea, I can use that for something else. So So I'm just going to show you with this one. I will do the other one off camera. So that's our envelope. So we're going to fold in and burnish all of these. So that is our envelope. So I think that's quite a nice size for a folio. So if I was doing this for like a card or something, I would probably get rid of that little point bit by folding it down. But I'm not. This is going to get covered in paper, so I'm just going to leave it on. So I'm going to glue down the envelope and then make the other one and join them together. So let's just do a little bit of gluing this down on camera. So I'm gonna go along the edge there and up to here. And then that should be that. All nicely stuck down. Okay, so that's our envelope. So that makes an envelope that is, it's 9 1/8 that way, 6 1/4 that way. That is what we've got. Might find that is ever so slightly out, but it doesn't actually matter that much. I'm just going to give that a little bit of crease. Okay, so I'm going to make the other one. So then you've got to join the two together. Now what Liz from the Paper Project did was she put glue around that bit and then glued it to the top side of this. I'm going to put glue all around this triangle bit and glue it to the back side. I don't suppose it makes any difference because you're going to cover this anyway. So yeah, and I just think it's a little bit easier to add glue all the way on this personally. So I'm going to put glue all over this flap. I like this junk journal project because I have literally made it out of a bit of junk. So then glue that flap over this. There we are. So that is that is maybe not what I wanted. There, let's straighten that out. There we go. I like this little extra time you get with this Collall glue. If that had been Tombow, I wouldn't have had that little wiggle extra time. Right, so that's that. So now what we want to do is we want to slit open these ends here so that we've got a nice big pocket. So I'm going to get my big guillotine in. And I'm just going to poke over the edge. And take that snivelly bit off. It's not quite straight, but I don't think that matters. So there, we have now got our pockets going down there. So now I need to select the paper to do the covering, and I'm going to cover the 4 sides before we start decorating. So I've looked through my stash of Christmas papers. These are all retired Stampin' Up! Christmas papers, and I think that there's potential in lots and lots of these. Some I haven't got much of, so they might be just sort of embellishments, whereas I have got full packs almost of some things, but I think some of these are, I love those, but I've got to vintage them up. That I'll probably do some ink blending on that. That's quite a nice size there. So that's the little tiny bits. I love those old-fashioned lights. So I've got some full sheets here, so I reckon a little bit of blending with soft suede will vintage them up nicely. I do love the stripes. Oh, that's a nice as well. That would be quite a nice bold background, although I do love the stripes. Could do a little halfy there with that. Two of these. Oh, I could get 2 pages out of that. That might be quite nice if it's vintaged up. I've got this flocked vellum that was out last year. I thought I could make something out of that. Again, I'd want to vintage it up a little bit. And then I've got this lovely paper, but it's a full pack. This, I bought it in the clearance when the Christmas stuff went on clearance, because I knew I'd want to do something with it, but I hadn't at the time thought of it. So you've got one side, you've got a bit of bling, so we've got 2 sheets of each, so that we've got a bit of bling, and then that side we've got this lovely script which has all got Christmas bits on, and it's kind of this side that I thought I'd probably use. I don't think this blingy side is what I'm looking for, although I do love all these like adverts and things. And then on the other side of that we've got like recipes, which I think are fab as well, and I think that would be lovely once it's vintaged up. And then on the other side of this one we've got some stories. I think these would look lovely, and that's got this lovely script, which again is another like Christmas story. This has got these bits from, this is not in English, I think possibly it's German, which I quite liked. So that was my thoughts for this, is that I probably wouldn't use the blingy side, I'd use this side. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is see what this looks like with a bit of ink blending on it. I might test it on a smaller bit first, just in case it's completely ruined. I'm going to try it with crumb cake first. And then see if I need to go a bit darker. Could coffee dye, but I don't want to do that right now, because I'm only doing a couple of sheets, so I'm just going to do it with my inks. I think that is looking pretty good. The video that I watched made a belly band and a pocket on the inside, which I think I'll do, but they stuck the belly band on top. I think I'm going to make a belly band and stick it under the sheet that I'm going to put down. I think that might have like a nicer effect. I'm liking how that looks. Where's my envelopes? I think that would look quite good. Might do some stamping on it as well, make it look a little bit older. But I am liking how that is looking. The other thing I like to do is, if I get my, sometimes do it in my glass mat, or I have got a little Teflon mat in my scrap box somewhere. Let me find it. Here's my scrap box. In here somewhere. There it is. Teflon mat. Now some people might look at that and think, what a mess, Jez. Why don't you get it sorted? Well, I don't need to, because I knew that was in there, and there it is. So what I'm going to do on this is put a bit of this down, get a bit of water, spray it on, and then I'm just going to dip this in the water, and it gives it a different look. And then we'll just leave that to dry. So quite liking how that's looking. So that needs to dry, and then I might add a bit of stamping to it. So that's now nice and dry. It's curling up a little bit, but once it's stuck down you won't notice. And so I've got out some stamps. So I've got a bauble out from this one. I've got my favourite script, and I've got my dottage there from Quiet Meadow. So I might do a bit of different colours now. I might add a little bit of soft suede, bit of script coming down, and then I want some dots going around. I mean, I've got a bit of dotting anyway from the spraying of the water. We're just adding to it with this. And then I think I need to re-ink this. Let's have a little bit of Christmas baubles there. So I think that's creating quite a nice look there. So I think I'm safe to actually do the whole sheet, and I think that would look very nice. And then I'm thinking that lovely patterned dark red, that'd make a nice belly band if I go over this as well, so that it's not white. It's actually going to turn the colour a bit, so I'll just cut a strip of this and get that all vintaged up. So I've done the sheets, and they're now drying near the radiator. So now I've got this. Now this is like vellum with a bit of flocking, and I thought I might see how this takes colour with the blending brush. So I'm just going to try it in a corner there. Oh yeah, that works, doesn't it? So I've got one sheet with poinsettias and one sheet with holly and mistletoe. But I think I might do poinsettias, because I think I might put a die cut poinsettia on the front. Might put a bit of holly. Not really sure yet. So I might just make a bag with this. So let's even this off. Right, so we've got 5 inches. We're going to go half an inch down each side. So we'll then have a 4-inch wide. And then we'll score down the centre at 6 inches. I think that will work nicely. Now what Liz did was, so she used a glassine bag, so she was able to fold it up and create another pocket. I think this is too thick folding up, so this will just be the one pocket. I think that's quite a nice size. I may cut it down a little bit. I think that will work quite nicely. So we're going to snip off and we only need one of these ends, so we can trim off the other. So I need my big scissors and cut down. So that's now ready to stick up there. So I want to bring this down a bit. So I'm going to bring my pinking shears in. And all I like to do is gently hold it like that. Start from down here and kind of curve up as I go, so we get a little bit of curvature going on there. And I'm gonna cut along the back, so we've got a nice little decorative edge. So it's a little bit like those sweetie bags that you get. So we need to snip top bit of this off. Snip this off a little bit there. There we go. So now that is ready like so. And I'm just gonna do a little bit of distressing on this side. Yep, that's working for me. So now we just need to glue this up. Now it's vellum, and glue does show through vellum, but I actually don't think it matters. When it's a bag like this, I think it's going to be okay. I want a nice strong stick, so I'm going to use Tombow. And I think what I might do is leave that under something heavy for a bit. Make sure it has nicely adhered. I think that is quite a cute bag, which when it's stuck down on the, it'll be on the inside. I might stick it just on. I might stick it so it's a side pocket actually. So we've got a side pocket here and a top pocket there. I think that is the way I'm going to go with that. So these are my papers. They've been drying on the radiator and they're a little bit curled up, so I'm going to give them an iron. So there they are, ironed. So that's a little bit better. So I did this in the same way as I did that, as you can see. So now I'm going to cut my rectangles to go on here. So I'm going to just measure it a sec. So it's like 9 1/8 by 6 1/8. So I'm going to cut this at 5 7/8, I think, and we'll cut this at 8 7/8. I think that's what we're going to do. That's those bits. It's not really directional, but I think there's more baubles that way up than the other. Right, and then I've got this to form a belly band. So I want it to tuck underneath this. So I'm going to cut this. If it was 8 7/8, 9/8, 7/8, I'm going to give it an inch so that I've got a 1/2 inch fold under. So I do that, and then I kind of score at 1/2 inch. And score the other end at 1/2 inch, and then that should work. And I quite like the back there, so I don't think I'm going to do much more than that. I might do a little bit more inking, but when I did this with the spray in the wet, some of the outlines of the baubles went underneath it, and I thought that was quite cool. So I just think doing the belly band that way is less messy really than the other way. I'm thinking I want it a bit thinner. That is cut at 3 inches. I think I might go 2.5. And one thing that Liz did was she then, so we had that like that. There was a nice big journaling card went under there, but she also put a pocket on there, which I quite like the idea of, so I think I'm going to do that. But before I do that, I want to ink just on the inside here a little bit and on those edges. So I think that's gonna look lovely. And I might form the pocket with one of my Christmas digitals that I downloaded. I use several different sites for public domain images, and last Christmas I did my first Christmas, well, not Christmas daily but December daily, so I got loads and loads of images off. I thought they'd be good to use. So let me have a little skeg at what I've got here. So did a load of Did a load of images there that I have cut out with my new toy, my Scan and Cut. I thought they would look good on them. Some vintage images. So I want something not so big to go across there. That's quite a good size. Quite like that size actually. I made some tiny ones. Oh, these ones. I've not got any with poinsettias on. They're a bit bigger. So that one there with all the red. Yeah, that one might work. I think we might take that one, so I'm going to get that cut out. So that's cut out to go on there, and she glued it on so that the glue went down where the belly band is, this overhang hung, and that was a little pocket, which is quite a neat idea. It needs backing. I think I might use some of this brown paper packaging tied up with string. These are a few of my favourite things. I think I might do that. So despite the image being vintage, it always needs a little bit more vintaging. So in the same way as I've done the paper, I'm just going to add some ink and some stamps, just so it kind of all blends in. And then I'm going to stick it with my collard glue. It's 2 bits of paper. I mean, that's 120 GSM paper, and then that's quite thick packaging paper, but the collard will give it a little bit of extra strength as well. So I want it to be a pocket, so I want it to hold up. The paper on its own wouldn't have been enough. So just trim those bits down, and then going to have to sort of re-ink the edges again, because now they're freshly cut edges. And then we'll be ready to stick it down on the belly band. Let's just, on the back side here with a pencil, just gonna make a note from here so that I can do my glue just on the inside of that and around there, and then it's in the right place for lovely for the belly band. Yeah, you've run out, Jez. It's not suddenly gonna get some more glue just because you've left it onto one side and not used it. Gonna have to be what I got, and I'm going to stop for lunch in a sec, and let's see if I remember to fill it before I come back on and film. Who wants to lay some bets of whether I remember or I forget? So that's that. So again, put this on, centre it on here. So we know where the middle is. So that is sticking. I could probably have done with it a bit higher. Mind you, that does give me a bit more scope for a bigger tag going in there. It is what it is now. If that works, we've got our opening there. So I'm going to put a bit of glue on here. halfway down there. Should have checked if we were in the centre. I'm eyeballing it. I think it's okay. Do the same on this side. So that's that bit done, and so now this needs to glue on. Don't really matter which way you do it. Glue on here, and what you've got to do is remember that we want it to just along there. We don't want it over this bit because we want this to stay open. So I'm going to put glue along these bits, along that edge, and then around there. So not all the way to the edge because it is being matted, but I do want these edges bits to be covered, and we want a bead along there. And then that's for that. So then we're going to go all the way along top edge of this. Going to get stuck down. Going to go around the edges. I'll put a bit on this so we know it's well and truly adhered down. Lots of glue. Got a bit of wigglage here. And so I've chosen to leave a border, but in the video I watched, they didn't leave a border. That's open there, and we are stuck down there, so I'm going to get my bone folder. Make sure that's all nicely stuck. So there we are, we've got our belly band, got our pocket, and then we've got a big pocket there, like so. This side is just going to get stuck down, and then we're going to put that, we're going to put the pocket on, which has been underneath something heavy. That's that bit done. That's very cool, very Christmassy. And what I would also do is do a bit of inking. So that's that bit. So now let's see if the pocket's dry. Okay, so back after lunch. I filled my bottle up, so that's good. Put my date on there. So that meant that the other bottle lasted me about 3 months. But I mean, I'm not exclusively using Tombow. I do use other things as well. So I had a little look at some of my little vintage fussy cuts that I got out. So I've got something in that arm that so these are some vintage images that that I found, and I used my scan and cut to cut them out, and I thought they might look quite nice on here in places, and I think the colours go really quite well with the colours in the paper. I'm not convinced about that one. I've got a little bit there of left over, so I thought what I might do is stick that on the corner there with that over the top and create a tiny little pocket there and have that little bit of holly at the top. And then I wanted something here and here, and I was looking, like, these are all baubles, Christmas tree decks. So I've got this die set from Stampin' Up, it's called Gingerbread Dies. So there is a stamp set that goes with it as well, which that one that I've used already that with. So I've cut them out of crumb cake and cherry cobbler, because that's the colour that goes with the paper behind. So I cut out loads. Well, what I did was I cut each one out of crumb cake, tops and bottoms, and then each one out of the cherry cobbler so that they could be stuck together. Now I've done 2 already, and as you can see from the colour of it, I've then sort of distressed it a bit. So let me just move them a tad. So I then thought that could stick on there, and maybe that one in the corner, and I maybe use some of the other ones. There's a border in that set as well, which I thought would look good across the top of that, and then just leave that as is, not add anything else. So I did think I might do a couple more of these and maybe just have them sort of tucked underneath there, and I might do a different shape rather than have that. I might do a bauble shape. I cut loads out, wasn't sure which ones I would use, so that's still got a little bit stuck on it, but maybe do a bit of that. Thought that might be a neat idea, so that is kind of where I'm going with that. I might keep these and decorate other bits, because I've got to make things to go inside yet. So this needs distressing, and these 2 need distressing, and I might just do a little bit around these. So I'm just gonna move that out of the way for now, bring in my bit of scrap, maybe have a cleaner bit of scrap, because I think it was getting a bit difficult to see what I was doing. I do think I need to re-ink. It'll do for now. That's going to go on there. Give that a little bit of a distress as well. I quite like doing a little bit of stamping on it and all. So some of these bits where you've got like landlocked white bits, it doesn't scan and cut don't cut those bits out, but it doesn't matter because do a bit of inking over it, and you'd never know. Unlike there on the inside of these, they didn't cut those bits out, but it's not a massive problem. Put a bit of ink on and it's fine. And I might just go around the edges. Easier than using a sponge. I am loving my Scan and Cut. Absolutely loving it. These were like fussy cut images, so they were just on a white background. So it quite liked cutting these out. Had a really good line. So it cut them out really easily. So now I'm going to do a little bit, make these look even older. Put a few of these, definitely need re-inking. I think when you're using your blending brush, you are taking quite a lot of ink off. So you will need to ink it up again. A bit more often than you would if you were just stamping. Right, let's have a bit of script going across there. And on here. Put a bit on. Yeah, I think they work. So now I'm gonna stick these down. I want to give that red a bit of a knock back. Yeah. So I'm going to stick these down. So use my fine tip. Oh, I've just filled it so it's coming out. It's coming out quite strong. Right, that's that. So, got an embossing buddy. Stampin' Up don't sell these anymore. You can get, it's just a bit of powder. Get rid of all that stickiness. It is made for when you're embossing. To get rid of like greasiness on your cardstock when you're putting embossing powder on, so you don't get the embossing powder sticking to where you've had your fingers. But it's also really good for taking away sticky. So now that's no longer, there's a bit there. Mind you, that could have been sticky from my finger as opposed to from that. So that's that, and then we'll just snip off. Just going to use my little snips, but I can't see them. Snip off those ends. There we go. Now I think we're ready to stick these. So that needs to stick on there. Now you could centre it, or you could put it down a little bit. I think I'm going to put it down a little bit so there's like room for a nice big tag. I'm going to make a pocket under there as well. That's going on there with a pocket. Let's stick that under there. That up there. Have that there. Putting that there. Vintage Christmas tree there. With Santa leaving presents. And a bit of holly. Up there. Kind of goes with the holly there. That was my thoughts. And obviously we're going to have journaling card there. Going to have a thing in there, in there, in there, in there. So let's get this all stuck down. So that is that bit done. So I think I'm gonna make that part 1. So, and I'll bring you a part 2. So we've got our pocket there, and I think that just pocket there and a pocket there. A little pocket there, big pocket there, little pocket there. So I think next time I'll decorate the front, I think, and then I might bring you a part 3 where I make all the tags, because we've got quite a few tags to make. So I hope you're liking it so far, and do like and subscribe, and I'll bring you part 2 very soon.